heavens to Betsy, I don't know if you can hear me, but up here you're coming in clear as a bell. Heavens to Betsy, I finally quit the drinking, so I hated that my demons put you through hell. I bet you're just as surprised as I am they'd ever let a sinner like me in. And I know I didn't do enough watching over you, but I will until I see you again. Now if you let me, heavens to Betsy, blink twice if you remember, just skipping rocks on the river, were knee-high to a stone. Now they still haunt me. You pink rain boots in the driveway. What kind of man would drive away? Just give up and run. Surprised as I am, they ever let a sinner like me in. And I know I didn't do enough watching over you, but I will until I see you again. Now if you let me, hitchhiked up to Memphis, a young boy in my prime. I thought that big old city could ease my Georgia mind. After just 1 hour, I met this southern girl. She said to call me the Queen of Memphis. Then she took me around the world, and I saw stars dancing on the water. I heard Elvis singing Blue Suede Shoes. That old muddy river was my witness the night I fell in love with the Queen of Memphis. Things I'd never seen back there on that farm. She set my soul on fire. She fulfilled all my dreams. A boy became a man that night in the arms of the Memphis Queen. And I saw stars dancing on the water. I heard Elvis singing Blue Suede Shoes.
Ripley County's #1, Country 103.9 WRBI.
I've been doing better. I hardly ever think of you lately. It ain't all sunshine. When you cross my mind, I start missing you like crazy. I try to numb the pain, but there ain't no damn way. I end up in that place and I'm just one whiskey away. And I don't mind if I do drink up the nerve to show up at your house. If you wanna know the truth, it's killing me not holding you right now. I'm one memory away from falling all the way apart, 'cause I might still love you. Hope you don't mind if I do. I almost quit drinking. For a while I quit thinking about you. I got a little sleep, but some nights I can't control it. Sometimes I give in because not having you is hard on me. But when I give in to that vice and pour another over,
WRBI Batesville, Greensburg, Versailles, Brookville now presents Southeastern Indiana's longest running and most listened to sports show. It's Coach's Corner, broadcasting live from the Coach Raver Corner at Ison's Family Pizza. Listen on 103.9 FM or the WRBI app. And now you can watch the show happen live too at WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page. Here is the host of Coach's Corner, Coach Rob LaFerry.
Confines of the Raver Corner at Ison's Family Pizza, we say good evening and welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner. Rob LaFerry with you on this Monday night. We've got some basketball talk the first half hour this evening. Then we'll switch gears and talk some high school football. And let's get that basketball talk started tonight with a guy that typically we talk Jacksonville girls basketball with, but he has decided to make the leap over to the boys' side, and that is brand new Jacksonville boys basketball coach Scott Smith. And Coach, first off, welcome back. A different job, but nonetheless still an Eagle.
Oh, thanks for having me, Rob. I really appreciate it as always. And, we got to face each other last year. And actually, you were 8th grade, I was 7th grade, but we got to be on the floor at the same time. So got a little bit of a feel getting back into boys after about 23 years. But I've been really happy and really pleased with the way things have went so far this year.
Talk about the transition. There's going to be some obvious differences, with going from the girls' game to the boys' game. What have you seen as being the biggest transition point? What is something that you've maybe had to change up a little bit while trying to still establish, some of the things that obviously were very successful with the girls' program at Jacksonville?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I've realized so far is that basketball is basketball. Most plays will work whether it's boys or girls. It's just the spacing and the speed have to be factored in. And so we've looked at a lot of the things that we're doing and made some adjustments from things that we did do when we had the girls. But other than that, I think the biggest thing is getting used to is just the speed. The boys, I think I've heard this as very apt description, is when you're coaching girls, it's a little more two-dimensional. And when you coach boys, you have to add that third dimension of vertical. And, you can run a great play and have a great look and get nothing out of it just because of that athletic ability. And, we've made a few changes to some things we've done to accommodate that. But deep down, the real focus of us is, put in the core discipline that we think we need to be able to compete, especially with bigger schools. Good shot selection, good solid defense, and hopefully that pans out as we go down the road.
And when you take a look at you taking this job and a whole off season for you to come in and to establish these things, and just based off seeing what I did on social media throughout the off season, really good numbers for you to get ready for the brand new season.
Yeah, we have two really small classes. We have 2 seniors and we have 2 freshmen. So overall, the numbers are maybe just a little lower than what we would like, but we have a good solid 16 kids. And those 16 kids came to just about everything throughout the summer and the off season, preparing for this. And so I kind of feel like we got a little bit of a head start there, putting in new offenses and defenses, and just kind of establishing expectations. And I have to say that, our 2 seniors, Lane Simon and Caden Coleman, along with our returning letter winner from last year, Darian Grisham, have done a really great job in providing leadership in that transition.
Talk about your team a year ago with Coach Bowman, 6-17 as part of a rebuild. And you talk about smaller classes, Coach Bowman the last couple of years with some larger classes, and with that was a lot of talent that departed because of graduation. So there was a huge learning curve with this group. But I think when you take a look, you've got a couple senior leaders, and away from that underclassmen-wise, this is a group that's got a chance to develop and be a pretty good basketball team out on the court. Yeah,
obviously we want to win this year, but we have a great core of juniors and sophomores, and the rest of our varsity is going to be made up primarily of them. So you have Blake Wagner who lettered last year at varsity level. We have Neil Sullivan, who is key on a 17-4 JV. Brody Huff, who is key on a 17-4 JV. Beckham Cummer, and I don't want to forget anybody. I think that's it. For our juniors and sophomores are going to be Will Meyer and Parker Pindell. And those younger kids are really stepping in and working hard and enjoying their new role as varsity players.
We'll talk about them here in just a second. I do want to focus in a little bit. I know you mentioned Caden and Lane Simon being your 2 seniors, but, I got a chance to watch Darian Grisham play a lot of basketball last year. Very impressed with his skill set, and he is a kid that, again, looking through social media, took the summer to his advantage, and he has really grown his basketball game.
He has really put in the work. He is almost always the first kid at practice. During the off season when we were allowed to have a couple open sessions a week, he was the kid who was sneaking around after volleyball practice and jumping on the court on his own for a few hours, gets extra shots up, and he's grown a little bit. He's put on some more muscle, and he's really doing a great job not only being a leader verbally, but what you want is by example, like diving on the floor, being the best defensive player, talking. So we're really happy with that development in him.
And then going back to that sophomore class, we're starting to get with me coaching the middle school level, I'm now starting to see a couple of years of kids that I have coached against starting to make that jump into high school basketball. The sophomore class was the first Jacksonville group that I actually got a chance to coach against. So, I know what Parker Pindell, Will Meyer, and some of those guys can do. And I thought last year, as the season went along at the JV level, you were starting to see flashes of what they could bring to high school basketball. And those are talented kids that lead a pretty solid sophomore group.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, the sophomores who are probably going to see primarily JV action are very working very hard as well. The thing I've noticed is that junior sophomore group are also all the key players on our baseball team. So they're used to being around each other for the last couple years, and all through even like travel baseball. So there's a natural competitiveness between those two classes that we really like.
And you not just baseball, you mentioned that, but I'm looking down the roster list. They play soccer together. There's baseball. There's basketball. So I think there's a lot to be said for a group that is away from each other, still together, but even in other sports, they know how to compete. So there's not much of a lesson that you have to really teach and instill of how to go out and go compete.
The thing is, especially with that junior group, they are very self-competitive. The 4 or 5 of them are constantly pushing each other individually, and that really adds a whole different dimension to what we can do as a team.
Talking Jacksonville boys basketball with head coach Scott Smith, and mentioned last year a lot of life lessons on and off the court to learn with the 6 and 17 team. What I like now with a lot of this group coming back from that squad, now you've got that year under your belt. It's a new coach. There's going to be an opportunity to develop your own brand of basketball with this team. What are you looking at as being that brand of Jacksonville basketball heading into this winter?
Well, I think the biggest thing in watching last year's games and watching film from last year that I noticed was we needed to do a better job of instilling shot discipline. They ran some good things, but a contested 2 5 feet from the basket is not a good shot for this group of kids. They need to be able to get all the way to the basket or get a kick out 3, and they need to understand that they have a lot of speed and we may want to push the ball a lot, but you have to have the discipline to say, we don't have a shot here. Now let's run our offense, and if it takes us a minute to get the shot we want, we're going to do that. And that's probably been the thing that took the longest amount of time to get them to accept, is that if you beat people down the floor, I'm fine with you running and getting numbers, 2-on-1, 3-on-2. We'll just attack the basket. I'm happy with that. But you then in turn have to be smart enough and disciplined enough to say, okay, we don't have anything here. Let's run our offense and get the shot we want.
I think shot selection has been something that has changed drastically throughout the years. Even going to a couple coaching clinics the last couple of years, sometimes you're going to run these clinics now, and all of a sudden they're saying, hey, that mid-range jump shot is no longer the best shot to take. And we're starting to talk about new higher percentage shots. It's just amazing just how the game has developed, and there's several different factors in there. We can talk about the NBA, college basketball, but it's just amazing, just even in a short period of time, what we now consider to be good basketball as opposed to what we may have said 5-10 years ago.
Oh, 100%. I think when I was still at the girls, this was probably like 10 or 12 years ago, I actually went back 3 seasons and statted all of our shots and came to the conclusion that, unless you can shoot high 40s or 50% from 2-point range, you're better off if you're shooting 32 or 33% from 3. You're actually going to win more ball games. That being said, the one thing I don't like currently is I think that maybe we're taking a cue from the NBA. Kids take a lot of contested threes now, or they settle for the 3, and there's nothing wrong with attacking the glass and taking it to the hoop. And yeah, you're probably right, but who wouldn't take a wide open 10-footer, contested 10-footer? Yeah, I'm right there. It's like, let's not take that shot. But we want our kids to be able to recognize any good shot that they can make and take that shot. Now,
what I will say will never change, and I'm glad you brought it up a little bit ago, diving for loose balls, playing good defense, rebounding the basketball, little things can overcome a lot of big things any day of the week.
Oh, 100%. And I think especially with this group is as they develop their skill level, shooting, handling the ball, they're going to have to understand that right now this year they are going to have to do everything else even better as far as defense, getting loose 50-50 balls. And those are the things that maybe push them over the hump this year while their skills are still in development.
Well, let's talk about your Eagles hitting the floor. We talked before the show started. You got a scrimmage coming up on Thursday night against Edinburgh, and then the week after, Thanksgiving week, you get your first dose as a head coach in the boys turkey shootout and playing host to South Ripley. Turn right back around on Saturday and play Batesville. So there's going to be two good programs right off the bat to see just kind of where your kids are stacking up early on in November.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, the kids are always looking forward to the turkey shootout game. I think that's one part of Jacksonville's schedule that probably hasn't changed since I was in high school. It's still the Tuesday, Saturday. South Ripley had tremendous year last year, lost some major contributors, but have some really good young kids. Going to come down for us is, can we contain the people that we know about and then adjust to the people we don't know about to see what they can do. And then, can we take advantage offensively of the places that we have an advantage? Against Batesville, had a chance to see them over the summer at basketball camp. Was really impressed with their three-point shooting. Just really, really good. Very hard to defend. And if you have to defend the three-point shot from 3 to 4 players at all times, somebody's going to get an easy look inside. So they're going to they're going to present a very big challenge for us. But we're looking forward to getting started because I think we're at the point now, a little over a week of practice, we need to play someone other than ourselves.
And you've been at the school long enough, so I'm going to kind of wrap up with this tonight. Tuesday night will be the boys' debut on the brand-new playing surface at Jacksonville, a long time coming. I'm excited that we get to play there for middle school tomorrow night, but just the pictures I have seen, just a fabulous addition and renovation to the gym. You've got the Athletic Hall of Fame, which is going to be put into place. So there's a lot of exciting things happening over at Jacksonville right now. There
really is, and I'm really looking forward to see a completely packed house Tuesday night against South Ripley, just because, the older gyms do have that special feel, and I know that there's some people out there who are like, well, I don't like that we don't have the pictures anymore, but I've seen pictures of when the gym opened up in 62, and the gym looks more like that than it ever has. And I think that especially some older fans are going to really be pleasantly surprised with what we can offer now at Jacksonville as a home venue.
All right, Coach, we'll go ahead and let you go. We will be out at the Turkey Shootout. We'll have that Batesville game next week as well. Good seeing you, good catching up, and I'm sure this won't be the last time we talk this winter.
No, it's great to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night at your game at Jacksonville.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
that is
Ron.
Jacksonville head coach Scott Smith. We'll step aside, take a timeout, come back with Batesville girls basketball with head coach Mitchell Taylor. Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on Country 103.9 WRBI, WRBI-TV, and the WRBI app.
Simmer and sear with confidence using a Maytag freestanding electric range with 5 elements, including a 9-inch and 6-inch dual-choice element, variable broil, and warming center. You can knock out mealtime in no time. The steam clean cycle and fingerprint-resistant stainless steel finish makes it easy to keep clean inside and out. Shop Gehrings today. Gehrings and Maytag, 316 North Main, Batesville.
When you schedule an annual wellness visit with your Decatur County Memorial Hospital primary care provider, you can receive the most up-to-date report on the status of your health. Your family medicine provider's care is a fundamental to staying well and catching problems early. Routine preventative care can help save your life. Schedule an appointment with your DCMA's provider today.
Back to more Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on 103.9 FM. Streaming audio on the WRBI app and with video on our Facebook page and at WRBI-TV.com.
Back with more Coach's Corner on this Monday night. Big thank you to the brand new head boys basketball coach at Jacksonville, Scott Smith, for joining us as our first guest this evening. And now we're going to talk some Batesville girls basketball with a guy that Coach Smith knows pretty well from his girls coaching days. But Mitchell Taylor joining us with the Lady Bulldogs. And for Batesville, great start last week, 2-0 in 2 ball games after a season-opening loss to New Palestine. You take a look at the schedule Thursday night, a really good conference win against South Dearborn, 50-15. Come back on Saturday night, 46-36 over North Decatur. So, Coach, 2 wins are now under your belt for this young team, and I think that we saw that there is plenty of potential with the Lady Bulldogs.
Yeah, first, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure. It's nice to be in here 3 weeks in a row. I like talking sports, and I love talking about the team. This past weekend, without a doubt, we righted some things. There's always room for improvement, but we're doing some things that we want to do in certain ways. Now, there's certain things that, like taking care of the basketball that we still got to get better at. But, I think one thing we can hang our hat on so far this year is rebounding. Our girls have been getting it after it from the boards, and we knew this summer that we were going to be losing a lot of that from our last season, a lot of people who contributed from in that way. And I feel like the girls have really taken it upon themselves to create that as part of our identity.
And when you take a look at the stats, and your dad did a great job of sending me some stuff over the weekend, so I was taking a look at it. I think the thing that you have to really like, especially with the rebounding, is the fact that those younger girls that you have on the roster, they're some of your better ones crashing the boards right now. So for that inexperience, that youth to be stepping up and playing physical, that's going to be a huge payoff as you guys continue to move forward this season.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, as we move into it, I think the girls will become accustomed to playing with that physicality and knowing how to still, oh, there we go. We're just talking about it. A little congested. But as far as what we're doing, game to game, I think the pace, the physicality, the girls will continue to adjust and be more comfortable playing in that. And hopefully that kind of pays off, by the end of the year.
Well, let's talk about a couple of players to me that stood out, and I've got to start with Maggie Jelenic because she had back-to-back double-doubles. That included Saturday night, 26 points, 15 rebounds, and she just really stepped up and provided a huge spark.
That's as big of a game as anybody could have, right? Maggie is such a hard worker, and there's so many people who, maybe she doesn't hear enough directly, but that tell me they just love watching her play. And she's someone that was, even as a 7th grader, we saw play, and we're like, okay, she has the competitiveness, she has the want to, the will. She doesn't give up on any possession. And it really just culminated and paid off for her all in one night. They didn't have anybody that matched up well with her. She was persistent. Anytime a body wasn't put on her, she was getting herself in position to get a rebound. And it's something that, you think just kind of comes naturally to some people, but she really, she really thinks about what she's doing as a rebounder. She made a comment to our assistant, she was just watching other girls shoot during warm-ups to kind of see how the ball comes off the rim when they shoot it. And that's such a little small nuanced thing that you don't really think about, but, it kind of reminded me of The Last Dance when Dennis Rodman kind of talked about how to rebound, and I'm just like, I didn't realize that was something Maggie was even thinking about. So, she really works at it, and it was awesome to see her have a game like that and really propel us.
Well, you beat me to the Rodman reference because even being a huge basketball person, I think so many players growing up, and as you're learning the game, let's be right underneath the bucket so we can just put our butt into somebody and box out. And then I watched The Last Dance and listened to Rodman talk about studying how players shoot, and all of a sudden now, even me as a middle school coach, trying to instill and teach how to read the basketball, where, you have to be in this spot, you have to be in this spot. Just because you're underneath the basket anymore, that does not make you a good rebounder. Yeah,
especially with how, spaced out the game is. And, Scott talked about it, but just the three-point shooting in today's game, just more people are shooting them and more teams are shooting them, and you're going to get different types of rebounds. Yeah, without a doubt, that's an aspect that we've worked on just as far as being persistent and physical, and I think Maddie really embodies that entire just mindset for us.
In a way, for Maggie Jelenic, I thought Molly Gazelle put together a couple of good games for you, but what I like is, Maggie's leading in this category, but then there's just a bunch of girls kind of grouped together who do a little bit of everything, and the stat sheet certainly showed that. Yeah, without a doubt.
Our juniors, Kaylin and Nora, they really set the tone for us defensively. They're our best on-ball and off-ball defenders. They know where to be, and they're really starting to step up vocally and getting other girls in the right spots. And someone like Leah Meyer, Leah didn't have a whole lot of stats in other parts of the game in that New Pal game, and us as a coaching staff, we just kind of challenged her to step in and find ways to impact without scoring the basketball. And she started to rebound for us too, and she started to rack up a few assists in each of those games. So we feel like we have many girls in many different spots impacting winning. And one thing that I thought I saw on Saturday night is Jersey Trinkamp came off the bench and gave us a lot of energy on the defensive end, and she was really physical, and she's not afraid to play that way, and I really felt like it sparked us at times.
I like the defensive numbers for you guys in the 2 wins. The steal stat was pretty eye-popping. I think you guys had 15 against North Decatur on Saturday. And, yeah, that's very important, and you like to see the amount of steals because that means turnovers. That means defense is dictating then what your offense does on the other end. But just as important to me, and I've always felt this way, pass deflections. Even when you can just get your hand on the basketball, your defense is being very disruptive.
Oh, without a doubt. It allows one, if you tip it out of bounds, you allow your defense to reset, you gain momentum, and you're also kind of slowly taking the soul away from the other team. You're just making them feel more and more discouraged. So the more that you can get those, the more you lead to easy opportunities on the other end.
And plus it's going to help, you mentioned Nora and Kaylin, and certainly can't forget about them. But what I like about those two when they set the tone defensively, they fly around all over the place. And I think that energy is very contagious. I think for your young girls, that is a leadership quality that they do. It's not necessarily maybe being vocal, but when you're watching your 2 leaders do that, it's going to filter on down throughout the bench.
Without a doubt. And that's something that's something that they have taken upon themselves as basketball players well before I ever coached them. That's qualities they've always had. And now that they're in a position of a leadership role, everyone else is kind of looking at them and saying, Kaylin's shot isn't falling right now, but she's still doing all these other things that impact winning, whether that be make the extra pass, get a rebound, get a deflection. Both of those juniors for us are leading the way, and there's a reason why they're our captains.
Well, let's talk about this week. We're talking Batesville girls basketball with head coach Mitchell Taylor, and you guys get a little time off in terms of games. You come back on Friday and Saturday this week, and you're on the road for both. You're at Seymour on Friday. You're at South Ripley on Saturday. 2 tough games, but leading up, I'm a guy who likes to go out and play games, but I also know how important it is to practice. With this group especially, it's a good chunk of time. Number one, you can do a couple different things. You can do some fundamental work, but then on the back half, you have that opportunity to be preparing for opponents on Friday and Saturday. It's a nice little balance when you've got a few practice days kind of grouped together.
Oh, without a doubt. It's nice to have stretches in the year, and it does become such a long year. But, coaching a sport like tennis, you feel like you can never reset or work on something you really want to for a few days in practice. But in basketball, you definitely have those opportunities. So, today was really fundamental. We were really working on a lot of skill stuff and then talking about our offense. But there's definitely things that we did down the stretch in the North Decatur game where there's some mistakes we made. And we know that we have to work on those things and get better at them. And we know with experience, we'll get better in those situations too.
Talk about the opponents at hand. We'll start out with Seymour. It's a fun trip to make because you get to go to Seymour and play in such a terrific venue. Up and down, typically Seymour, but certainly they present a challenge as a Class 4A school.
One thing they do, and last year, we played them twice. We played them at home, and then we played them in a holiday tournament. One thing they do well is they shoot the ball well from 3, and they're physical. So those are going to be 2 challenges. We're not taking a step down in physicality this weekend in any way. I'd say the same thing for South Ripley. So we're going to have to be ready to handle it. And, there are at times in both our last 2 games where we didn't handle it well. There are times we did. We're just going to have to be more consistent about it.
I think learning to kind of add on to that really quickly, the New Pal game kind of prepares you for then what you're seeing on Friday with the physicality and with the 3-point shooting.
Yeah, and we had to kind of discuss that last week, but just seeing that physicality that early, we kind of just realized there are levels to all of this, and when the physicality is that high, we know we can make adjustments to be able to play at that same physicality. So, the hope is when we go to Seymour, it's a big gym. It's a cool gym to play in. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a different environment than what most of our girls would be used to. But I feel like, we're going to go out there and give them our best shot. And as far as what we can do, last year we went into a holiday tournament and I think they might have hit 14 threes on us. But it's the nature of the beast. There's going to be games like that. And we're going to do everything we can to go in there and play physical and play to our strengths and not give them extra opportunities.
And then you take a look at Saturday at South Ripley. Obviously, last year was a 1-1 split with them. You guys took a regular season matchup. They got the best of you in the Ripley County Tournament Championship. You know, I thought on the way here, I was like, oh, do I ask him, is there a bad taste in the mouth? Well, not necessarily, because you've pretty much got a whole new group playing at the varsity level. But this is a really solid South Ripley team. You know that Rainier, Samples, and Warner are going to be their big three, and they've got enough back that kind of makes the process of preparing for them just a little bit easier, knowing the clientele you're going up against.
Well, you know who we're going up against, but it's also they have so much experience, and you can tell there's a lot of basketball knowledge in that roster, and they know how to play with one another. You know, we saw them this summer. We know what they have. They know what we have. But it's just going to be a question of, are we willing to step up and do the things that we have to do to win a basketball game? And, you know, being on the road, that's going to take a whole other element into place. We haven't played a road game this year, so we're going to see how we respond this weekend. But as I've told this team, there are going to be things we learn early in the season that we have to be able to learn, apply, and then take onto the court with us as we move and progress through the rest of the year. And I really just want to see that growth from them. So looking at Friday and Saturday, 2 tough matchups on the road, we're going to really see, you know, what we're made of.
Final question tonight, Coach. I got a chance on Saturday to go watch the Batesville Youth Boys Basketball League get their season started. And, you know, with me being a teacher and getting to watch my students, that was part of it. But, you know, I know you guys have started up some youth league things as well. And what I really like, and that what you have chosen to do with your youth league program, is that your JV and varsity girls get a really cool hands-on experience to go out and hang out with that youth league.
Yeah, that was a conversation. I'm going to give all the credit to Joanna Hughes, my JV coach. She's seen it done in other ways. I've seen it done at other schools. I think it was a great idea that she brought up to me, and we just talked through it, but just getting our high school girls involved in coaching, just to kind of give them that perspective, you know? And so hopefully they can kind of see where we're coming from sometimes, but also just to get them connected with that younger group.
Right.
Usually it's like they see them for a week at camp, but now hopefully they can kind of develop a little better connections with our youth league.
Developing connections, and I think most importantly, developing a love for the game that hopefully is going to stick and just continue to build up the program. But Coach, best of luck on Friday and Saturday night on the road, and that Saturday ball game we will be, I believe, bringing your way on WRBI. So best of luck. We'll talk to you over the weekend and get a chance to chat next week.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
All right, Batesville girls basketball, head coach Mitchell Taylor. As we step aside, take a break, we're going to switch from football, or rather from basketball to football. I've got Milan head coach Ryan Lankfman joining via phone from earlier this past weekend as a part of Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on the Sports Voice Country 103.9 WRBI, WRBI-TV, and the WRBI app.
When it comes to you and your family's health, finding a primary care provider you can trust makes all the difference. At Margaret Mary Health, our providers aren't just here for you when you're sick. They're dedicated to being your long-term partners in health. If you're looking for a medical provider to help keep your family well, give us a call or visit us online. Our primary care providers are accepting new patients in Batesville, Brookville, Osgood, and Milan. Margaret Mary Health. Generations of care.
It's back. Our delicious chicken bruschetta pizza is back. Cecil here. I'm interrupting this commercial for some important news. Our operating hours are changing to better serve our customers and to better take care of our team members. We will be closing at 8 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. That's right, our new hours are Sunday through Thursday from 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., then Friday and Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Come let us serve you. IsonsFamilyPizza.com, 812-933-0333, or 117 East George Street, downtown Batesville.
Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry continues. Watch us live on WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page, and hear us live on the WRBI app and 103.9 FM. WRBI.
Indian head football coach Ryan from him. The Indians are heading to the semi-state. This will be the first time since 1996. Milan defeats Providence, the defending Class A state champions, last Friday night, 22-7 on the road. Coach, first and foremost, congratulations. Anytime you're able to be a regional champion, it's a big deal. But because this has been a long time coming for Milan, it makes Friday night even more special.
Yeah, it sure is. It's nice to be playing football this late in November. And, man, Friday night was a great night for our players and community. And I was just glad to be able to be there firsthand and watch and experience it all. It's been a minute since I experienced it as a player. But the players, and I think, still had the same reception Friday night, getting the fire trucks escorted them back into town, and communities rallying around this team. And it was a really fun night on Friday night.
Well, let's talk about that game on Friday night. I feel like a week ago we talked a lot about your offense for the job that it did, and we'll talk about them in just a little bit. But the fact is, you go to Providence, you only allow 7 points, 3 turnovers, a couple interceptions by Mike and Norman. Your defense was ready to go from the start.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that, Rob. I tend to be offensive-minded, so Coach Sable and Coach Sharp, and even going back to Coach Combs, would appreciate you starting off with defense, because I do kind of focus on the offense sometimes, but our defense has been playing really well. And for 2 weeks in a row, we have come up with a game plan. Our coaches get a lot of credit for that, and our players executing it really back-to-back weeks, almost to perfection. I think what stuck out Friday night to me, what had been maybe a little bit of an Achilles heel for us earlier in the year, our secondary played phenomenal Friday night, and Providence was really struggling to throw the ball on us, and they played well. Colton Harris and Micah Norman, Bryson Hornberger, and Wyatt Marsh played really well in the secondary. And then our linebacking crew was led by Grant Langford and J.J. Mutz. I think they led us in tackles. And then on the defensive line, Levi Pierce had a really good night. I think he ended up on the night with 5 tackles. And one of those kids that didn't get to play last year a lot because he was injured as a freshman, because I think he would have played as a freshman. So he's having a really good breakout sophomore year.
You know, when you take a look at your guys' stats from Friday night, and this has kind of been an eye-popper for me the last couple weeks, just how many guys defensively are in there for you and making an impact. I mean, there is well over 15 guys with tackles on Friday. You had 4 different guys who had a tackle for a loss. You know, you mentioned the secondary with the interception. So, I mean, this is becoming a unit where it's not just centered around 1 or 2 bruisers. There's a lot of different guys out there flying around.
Yeah, and it took us a while, but we've got guys in the right spots, I think, finally. We knew it all year long. Wyatt Marsh was going to play defense at some point. Some offensive coordinators would cringe at their quarterback playing defense, and we just kind of had to save him for the right time. But then it was where we were going to put him. We played him at outside linebacker against Eastern Hancock, and he played well, but we kind of felt we needed him more in the secondary. So he has transitioned there and done a great job for us. Luke Hendren, a freshman, has come in and played outside linebacker for us most of the year. And of course, by this point in the year, you're really not a freshman anymore. You're almost a returning starter when you got 12 games under your belt. So Luke's been doing a great job. And in our defensive line, we have 2 rotations that we rotate in at the defensive line. And they've kind of learned their roles and know what their job is, led by Zane Richardson and Lucas Hensley, and Levi Pierce. And Noah Morgan's done a fantastic job there as well. And we just keep rotating in the defensive line, trying to keep our guys fresh, because we do have a lot of guys going both ways. But you're right. They are starting to play as a unit, and that helps. We can keep the same group on the field for several weeks in a row.
Talk about your offense now, Coach. I think last week we had said that early on you were expecting the identity of this team to be passing the football, and it's turned into a very run-heavy offense. You got a chance to flex that muscle again on Friday. Wyatt had a great game rushing-wise, even from the quarterback spot. You had Beckett and Grant do a couple really nice things as well, and Josh Pettit's in there too. So, again, this is a tough offense to stop, even when you are run-heavy. You've got 4 or 5 options there to run the football.
Yeah, I think we rushed for about 300 yards on Friday night and spread the ball around pretty well to 4 different guys. And The thing I'm excited about, or at least confident about, is I realize we're not going to be able to line up each week and just run over somebody like we have the last 2 weeks. And, the passing game is going to have to keep defenses on us. Now, thankfully, the last 2 weeks, our run game has been very successful, and Wyatt has not had to throw the ball a lot. But I do know that Wyatt can throw the ball. And, as soon as teams start creeping up on us, I think that's going to open up play action and even putting Wyatt in gun, letting him throw the ball. Being a returning almost 2,000-yard passer from his junior year. I know we can throw it when and if we need to, but we've kind of had this formula going of, run the ball and run the clock and, keep our defense off the field as much as possible. And then when they've gotten the call to have to go out, they've done a great job of getting us the ball back. So we've had a pretty successful game plan the last couple of weeks.
You talk about game plans and execution, and obviously at this point in the year, it is so important. But I think also with any type of postseason for any sport, there's something to be said about some momentum and a little bit of luck. And one thing that you guys have done really well the last 2 weeks, you have been able to take advantage of momentum. At the same time, there have been some instances where you guys have been able to take away some momentum, even when it felt like that maybe it's going to go the other direction. But that has a lot to be said too as a part of your tournament run so far.
Yeah, I do think we have some momentum. We spent the last from week 7 after the Eastern Hancock game to the end of the year. We kind of adopted this game plan and just decided this was going to be who we are, and worked hard to develop some confidence in the players and the team, because to be honest, that was lacking at a point in this year. And so I do think we have some momentum going into the tournament. I think we're kind of enjoying the underdog role. Most people are predicting that we're going to lose each week, and our players are kind of relishing in that, knowing that we got guys in the right spot now. And I think a huge momentum shift on Friday night was our opening drive of the second half. We kind of got pinned deep on kickoff return, and we went 3 and out. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh man, here we go. We're going to give Providence some momentum. And Jose Blanco came in and put a great punt over the returner's head and kind of flipped the field position for us, and gave the defense some room to work. And I thought that was a huge play for us on Friday night, and kind of helped shift some of that momentum that maybe they had at the start of the second half.
Talking Milan football with head coach Ryan Lankfman as a part of Coach's Corner. Regional champions for the first time since 1996, and now Milan gets a chance to come home this Friday night at 7:30 to play for a semi-state championship and a berth in the state finals. But Coach, standing in your way is a South Putnam team who is 11-2 on the season. One similar opponent in terms of Eastern Hancock, which they beat 33-19 back on September 12th. But this is a very sound program. Coach Sorrell does a really good job with the Eagles.
Yeah, we were unfortunately sitting at home last year watching them play Providence in the semi-state, and they're a big and physical team, and that stuck out on film watching them last year. And you knew that was a lot of that was coming back this year, and that hasn't changed. They are a big physical football team. They have a pretty good running back that most of their offense goes through, and so they're going to present a challenge for our defense, and we got to try to contain him and make him throw the ball around a little bit. Offensively, their defense presents a challenge to us just because they line up in so many different fronts and formations that give us a lot of looks, and so we're going to have to be really sound on our blocking rules, because from play to play, you don't really know how they're going to line up, but I do feel confident that our kids can compete and move the ball against them, and we're going to see kind of a similar game plan to what we have the last couple of weeks. Move the ball and keep moving the chains, and try to keep control of the clock, and make the job a little bit easier for our defense.
I know you mentioned South Putnam is really big on their run game. Ty Benton's coming in. He's rushed for over 2,000 yards this year, so he is their go-to guy. The good thing is with the schedule that you guys play, star running backs are nothing new to you, and you even take a look at 2 weeks ago, trying to put some stops on Corbin Thackeray from North Decatur. I mean, those types of guys prepare you for a running back like you're going to see on Friday night.
Yeah, and we've made that comparison that, it will be similar in trying to stop the game plan we have with Corbin Thackeray at North Decatur. This game plan will be very similar with number 23. South Putnam's got some big guys blocking in front of him. I don't know that their running back is quite as talented as Thackeray, but their offensive line they have are some big guys that are going to be pulling and moving around and present their own unique challenges.
And, there's a lot of X's and O's, Coach, that we can talk about. And, I could sit here and, ask you about where do you feel like you can expose this team. And, I feel like that's going to be something we talked about in the pregame on Friday night. But, if something that's going to be in your back pocket on Friday that I think we can end with on a positive note is you are going to be at home for a semi-state championship game. And I know that your community and your fan base is awfully excited about this chance to be at home in such a big setting.
We are excited about that. 2 years in a row we had to go to Providence, and it'll be nice to be able to be for the regionals. So it'll be nice to be home for the semi-state. I know it's going to be a packed house, especially with East Central and Lawrenceburg having lost on Friday. We're kind of the only show in town, so it's going to be a packed house. And we've talked about that a little bit as a team. On Friday night we had plenty of long bus ride home to talk about some things, and we talked about the excitement of the week, and it's definitely going to feel different and not getting caught up in that and staying focused. And, I know that Milan football field is going to feel different on Friday night than our other home games that we are used to. But that's what's great about making a tournament run and making an exciting time of year. And so, we'll talk to our players and work with them a little bit on the mentality on how they approach this game. But I know our fans and community will rally around, and it should be a fun atmosphere.
7:30 kickoff for you guys on Friday night. WRBI pregame will be at 7:10. Coach, again, just congratulations on an exciting championship win on Friday. Best of luck as you guys prepare this week, and we will talk to you on Friday night.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate having me on again.
That's Milan head football coach Ryan Lankfman as a part of Coach's Corner. Back with more on the Sports Voice Country 103.9 WRBI.
You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be with Batesville Dental. For over 40 years, Batesville Dental's provided the latest technology in their state-of-the-art facility. They strive to make your visit a pleasure. Doctors Broughton, Liedermeyer, and Roberts and their staff offer preventative care, Invisalign, implants, extractions, and cleanings to keep your mouth healthy and your smile beautiful. Batesville Dental, 391 Northside Drive, Batesville. You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be. Batesville Dental.
In case you hadn't heard, Scripture Auto in Greensburg is now a part of Whitewater Motors.
If you have an issue down the road, you can call Jamie Scripture or Dave Scripture. Try that at some of the bigger places. It's just customer service. We've been taking care of people for a decade. That's our biggest thing. We treat them like family, always have. Rest assured, Dave Scripture and myself, Jamie Scripture, are still here running the business. So that's the big thing.
Visit them online at whitewatergreensburg.com.
Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry continues. Watch us live on WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page. And hear us live on the WRBI app and 103.9 FM. WRBI.
Jake Miners joins us right now, and Coach, always appreciate your time. You'll come up and talk to us in the positive times and the not so positive times, and we could tell from up here just an emotional scene down there with your guys tonight, especially with the seniors. And tough one tonight, but Jake, it took the number one team in 5A to put you out, and you guys took them right to the wire, 6-6 going into that fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's obviously a tough one. It's tough. When you're right there in the game, and credit new pal Kyle Ralph runs such a good program. There's a reason that he's 150 and 14.
Yep.
The man just knows how to win games, and last time we had faced him in 23, they were a young football team, and we were a senior dominated football team, and now he's got the senior class. He's got a lot of seniors playing that are just. You go up and down their roster, and every time we thought we caught something a little bit positive, they were able to adjust and their players made some good plays. They made some winning plays there at the end, and it's an unfortunate outcome for us, but credit New Pal. And I told the guys there, you just went toe-to-toe with arguably, they're the number one team in 5A. I haven't watched everybody in 5A, but, I'd be hard-pressed to find a better football team. Mm-hmm. And I have so much respect for them. As we're looking out here, you can see the respect between two programs. And I know Jerry and I have talked about that before off air, about just the respect that we have for each other. We're two public schools that have a great tradition. I've, two head coaches that are good buddies off the football field. We don't like each other for about 48 minutes, and then we get beyond that. But man, this senior class, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough in any sport when you see the amount of work that these kids put in, just to come out here and to try to perform for their school to the best of their abilities. Even through the tough days, man. I mean, there's some weeks where last week we threw the ball 5 times, and if you're a wide receiver, we threw the ball 5 times, and they didn't complain at all. They showed up to work on Monday, trying to get better and put ourselves in, try to get opportunities out there in the field, and they just did a phenomenal job. And just all the seniors, man, they led. They did everything that you want in a senior group. And it's gonna be tough. Man, there's a lot of really good young men within that group, and I told them that they fought to the end, and I respect them so much for that. And life, you can put all the effort you want into some things, and sometimes the outcome isn't what you want. And unfortunately, that's life. But I have a lot of confidence that these guys know that they can rely on each other, and they know that they can pick themselves up and move forward. Because, man, did we face some adversity this year. And every single time we responded, and it's responded in the right way. So I just couldn't be prouder of the seniors, and I couldn't be prouder of this group, that we have. And I think the most upsetting thing is that you just don't get to come back out on the practice field and spend more time with them. Because you get to spend a couple hours with them on a Friday night out here in front of the lights, but the amount of time that you get to spend with them on the practice field, and you're obviously focusing on the next opponent, but you're also joking around. They're telling you what's going on with their life. You might be picking up somebody that's dealing with something, and those are the moments that in sport, and specifically in high school sport, that are the biggest moments, and that's why we do this thing. Is that we want these guys to take those lessons that they learned and be able to apply it to their lives.
I mentioned the fact you lost Ryan Mingus, arguably your best overall player in the second game of the season. A kid like Colton Bellman steps up and has a phenomenal year. There's been other nicks and bruises throughout the year, and kids stepping up and picking each other up. And tonight's game, and I'd love to sit here and talk to you for 2 hours, but I'm not going to do that. And but tonight's game, I said it too. You got to give New Pal some credit. Yeah. There were some unfortunate penalties that went against you guys at some critical times. But they are a really, really good defensive football team.
Oh, they are. There's a reason they're only giving up 4.9 points a game coming into this. So I guess you want to say we broke that average? I guess we did.
You did. I mean, that's
they're such a quality football team, and you have to execute everything. You have to play dang near perfect, and we almost did that tonight. We almost did. Again, they made a couple winning plays there at the end, and and that's why they have the championship pedigree. There's a reason why they win so many games. But our guys, we were right there, and like you said, like Colton Bellman. I mean, quite honestly, coming into the year, we were planning on using him in some different spots and different moments. Maybe with some 2-back stuff that we've run in the past with him and Ryan. But then he battled through a little bit of a knee injury kind of late in the summertime, and honestly, he probably didn't know what his role was going to be coming into the year. Didn't play a whole lot week 1. Didn't play a whole lot until Ryan Mingus came down, and he's not the only reason why we're sitting here tonight in the regional final, but he's definitely a big piece of it. And for him to continue the grind and continue to get better, in most years we're able to run one or two running backs. Or he had to carry a big workload.
Yes, he did.
And he continued to fight, and we relied on our offensive line. But just extremely proud of him. And look, we could go up and down our roster and talk about different kids and what they've overcome and what they've been able to accomplish to get to this point. Noah Brown got to play a full season. That was huge. Gavin Osterman got to play his whole entire senior season. The development of Nolan Maple from his freshman year to what he is now as a senior, unbelievable. Carson Roth and Naden Houston, you look at those guys, and if I'm taller than you, that's, I don't know. You're not very tall. But those guys, look at how many times they put themselves in the correct positions. And they made plays for us. And Big Hank Timon, he got injured at the midpoint of last year. And for him to come out and, tonight he was sprinkled in on both sides of the ball a little bit. And so you could just go up and down this roster and tell a story. It would take a couple hours, Jared, but those are the points that you're proud about as a coach. But those are also the points of why you're upset that you don't get to be together and continue this thing on. Because ultimately you want to see our guys have success. You want to see them happy. You want to see them battling together. But it's just tough. But we're gonna. The sun will come up tomorrow. We'll rally. We'll get out of bed, and we'll take a couple days to let this game process. But the boys are going to be better because they played high school football. And ultimately, whether you run the ball 40 times in a game or you didn't play a snap tonight, you're a better young man because you experienced high school sports. And I don't care what sport it is, if it's football, basketball, soccer, anything, you're a better young man because you've learned the discipline of sport and you've learned life lessons that would take you incredibly far in life.
Jake, that is very well put. That's really cool. And real quickly, you mentioned these guys. A lot of sophomores played last year here and took the brunt of a 49-0. I mentioned it too. It's hard probably to process that and think about it right now. But, man, do you guys have a lot of young, good-looking players coming back for the next 2 or 3 years?
Sure. Defensively, and unfortunately Chase McCracken went down tonight, which we don't know the full extent of that. But we had a freshman starting a defensive line tonight. We had a couple of sophomores at linebacker, sophomore DB, a couple of, you look at our offensive front, some juniors up there with Sammy Crimer and Noah Brown, and then DJ Miller, just a sophomore. It's tough in these moments to think about next year, but a good, healthy program is that we have quality football players coming back. They were able to accomplish something that's never been done in our school history, and that's a fifth straight sectional championship. That's something to be proud of. But also understand what it's like, even though we came out on the wrong side for us tonight, they understand defeat. And they understand what it was like to play in a regional championship on your home field. And there's nothing like it. And the crowd was great tonight on both sides. The support, the positive energy that the fans brought tonight. Just a really quality high school football game. And I think that those are the hardest moments. But we do feel good with what we have coming back. Obviously, we'll lick our wounds a little bit, take some time off. But, around January is where the calendar turns for you. And the calendar, we'll celebrate our seniors and that at a banquet in December, and then kind of turn the page into the next season. So that's a healthy program when you're continuing to bring back guys, but that's why you play some young guys and get them experience, even if they're not starting for you. So we're looking forward to what we have come back, but I'm so proud of our senior class and the way that they were able to show the younger guys how to play and how we do things. The tradition and the legacy of East Central football is not something Jake Miners created. There's been a lot of great head coaches before me that has kind of built up this, and I've just been blessed to sit in the driver's seat for the last 7 years with it, and the legacy is being passed down, and our next guys will honor that tradition.
Jake, very well put. Thank you so much for your time, not only tonight, but the entire season. Proud to call you a friend. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Rob.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Fleetwood Chevrolet at 950 North Michigan Avenue in Greensburg invites you to visit them. They're here to help you with your next new or pre-owned vehicle purchase, as well as all your service and parts needs. They're the home of Greensburg's only drive-in service lane and free oil changes for life with the purchase of a new vehicle. Give them an opportunity to earn your business at Fleetwood Chevrolet.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
When looking for the highest standard of HVAC service and care, turn to Hurt & Elko, your local Lennox Premier dealer. Hurt & Elko and their Premier dealer status means you are certain to be working with a company who has the highest level of training, professionalism, and customer satisfaction. For a limited time, they're offering up to $1,900 in rebates on a brand new Lennox system or finance with low monthly payments. Call Hurt & Elko today at 812-934-4646 or visit them online at hurt-elko.com to learn more. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
It's Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza. Listen on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app, and watch on our Facebook page or at WRBI-TV.com.
And back. Final time for Coach's Corner this evening inside the Raver Corner on a very chilly November Monday night. Rob LaFerry wrapping up, and a big thank you to our guests tonight. That included in person Jacksonville boys basketball coach Scott Smith, along with Batesville girls basketball coach Mitchell Taylor. And then joining for the final half hour tonight, we had Milan head football coach Ryan Langfordman, as well as Jake Miners from East Central Football. A big thank you to Rob Moorhead and Jerry Stanger for their post-game interview as the Trojans fell on Friday night in the regional to New Palestine. We have got a lot of sports on WRBI this week after Coach's Corner tonight. Stick around for Indiana Pacer basketball as the Pacers are up in Motown to take on the Detroit Pistons. Then we've got girls high school basketball for you. That'll be on Tuesday night, and that is a rivalry matchup as Jacksonville is at Milan, anticipating airtime right around 7:15 with a 7:30 tip-off, and then that sets us up for the back half of the week. We've got Indiana Pacer basketball on Wednesday night, airtime 6:30, as the Pacers will take on the Charlotte Hornets. And then on Friday night, we have got ourselves a Class A South Semi-State Championship game. Winner heading to the IHSA football state finals. Milan is at home on Friday night. They'll be taking on South Putnam. Tom Snape and I will have the call. 7:10 airtime, 7:30 kickoff, and Milan also releasing tonight that because of expected weather, they know that the raincoats and the umbrellas will be out, but the school has announced that no canopies will be allowed inside the football stadium. So just a heads up for those getting set to attend that Milan South Putnam showdown on Friday night. And then on Saturday, we wrap up the week with girls high school basketball. Batesville is in Versailles to take on South Ripley, and looking potentially at another night of a two-quarter JV contest. We'll have an official start time later for you this week. You can find our full sports schedule on WRBIRadio.com. Big thank you to Brent Lee back in studio tonight. Annie Nunley to my left, my on-site engineer. So on behalf of Ison's Family Pizza, who allowed us to serve up another episode of Coach's Corner tonight, alongside and on behalf of Brent and Annie, I'm Rob LaFerry saying so long. We'll huddle up again together next Monday night as a part of Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on the Sports Voice Country 103.9 WRBI, WRBI-TV, and the WRBI app.
Listen Monday nights at 6 for Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry, live from Ison's Family Pizza. Come check out the show in person or listen on 103.9 FM or the WRBI app. And now you can also watch the show happen live at WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page from Southeastern Indiana's local sports voice, WRBI Batesville, Greensburg, Brookville, Versailles.